This is like my fourth time recording this video because I just want to, in honor of my haters, I would like to partake in hating activity, and I would like to express my extreme dislike for JFK Jr., which I knew he was a villain the second I laid eyes on him on my telephone screen, because he just has the aura of someone who. So here's the thing that I think about JFK Jr. He like, obviously he's a nepo baby, but he's like the type of nepo baby who, first of all, like, I think like he had the type of personality. I figured this out like somehow through his vibes through the phone before I even saw anyone talk about his personality, which turns out I was correct. Like the type of person who is like reckless and like a weak-minded man. Partially due to the nepotism, because some and he seems like the type of person who like thinks they're somebody just because they're like, I hate that. He seems like the type of person who just like seems like they're someone just because of their last name. And he, like, which is like, I guess fine. Like, I don't mind it so much if you like actually do something, which like he didn't. He just like was kind of a celebrity politician type of person from my understanding. Which of course I don't care. But yeah, like, and here's the thing, too, with, like, having, as I said, I talk about my narcissistic family system a lot, and how I had to, like, be around some of them, but, like, you know, because of that, I think, you know, well, even, like, since I was a kid, which was why I was, like, scapegoated in the black sheep in the first place, I don't have tolerance for culty family systems, and I don't care what your last name is. If your family, like, runs like a cult, I'm not into it. And I heard the story, so here's, like, a common denominator I noticed. Here's a common denominator I notice around culty families. A lot of the time, like narcissistic families, I don't think all the time, but a lot of times this happens, is, you know, for a narcissistic family system, the matriarch, the grandmother, and her mother are narcissists. So the sons, because, you know, men are wired to be attracted to women who emulate their mothers, they find narcissistic partners who are full-blown narcissists. So, you know, definition of a narcissist, someone who has major control issues and therefore is very self-centered. And, you know, so these narcissists come in, and because they have control issues, narcissists always have to be the queen bee, despite the fact that they are never qualified, because they don't do any work on themselves or any type of learning or understanding, whatever. They always have to be queen bee, though. So, you know, these men of these narcissistic family systems married narcissistic women, because those women emulate their mothers, who are narcissists. And then what happens is these narcissistic women who these men marry become the matriarch of the family system that they are not even blood to. So basically, this narcissistic family system will have a matriarch in the family who is not even a blood relative, who married into the family, but had to take over because they're always in competition with their husbands. You know, part of the psychology behind it is because these wives that the husbands marry, are in competition with the husbands. And you know how, you know, for example, like, I use the Mean Girls at work, how, and I never cared about this, never bothered me, but I would notice that every time I would try to talk to someone at work, they would try to, like, take over that person, because it's, like, part of them needing to steal from you. Like, because, you know, as I said, it never bothered me, but I noticed it every time that these girls would see me talking to someone, even if it was just, like, a basic whatever type of conversation, because one of the reasons it didn't bother me is because I don't do, like, friends at work. I don't believe in work-based friends. No one at work is your friend, but, like, you know, like, so they would try to become, like, besties with these women at work, usually also to turn them against me. Because that's kind of how, like, they try to, quote, eliminate you, is, like, they take over people who they perceive to be in your inner circle and, like, and strategically try to replace you. In their mind, they're replacing you. So that's also why these wives who are narcissists, do that with their in-laws, and they kind of, like, take over the family system because they're also in competition with their husbands. I witnessed this upstate. But yeah, enough about that. So this brings me to Aunt Ethel, who, like, I can't. So I came across this video on my feed about how Aunt Ethel thought she was the Queen of England and everyone had to stand up for her. And JFK Jr., who, oh my goodness, he was there with Carolyn. He did not like Carolyn. He did not like Carolyn at all. My favorite part of their love story was how Carolyn's mother did not like this man from the jump. And when they got married, she made a toast at their wedding that was like, are you sure you're going to do this, Carolyn? and then when he took, when both of her daughters died because of his recklessness, she sued his estate. Okay, and she won like 15 mil or something like that. I think that's like a really good example of how of the level of protectiveness you should be as a mother, especially towards your daughters. Especially towards your daughters. So yeah, like, and I say this because in narcissistic family system, it's like the other way around. Like the daughters are thrown into the wild and the sons get coddled. But so yeah, like she's such a good example of like standing up for your kids, and she never with Caroline's tumultuous relationship with JFK Jr. pretended that she liked the man, even though he was a Kennedy. She was never like, oh, you're a Kennedy now. Oh, Kennedy's. Like, she never did any of that. She was like, he sucks. And as I said, this man, I believe he was closet gay. I don't know if I said this. Might have said it in the one that didn't get, that got deleted, because I had to hate on this man because he's a serial cheater. Caroline wasn't even the last person he got with when they both died. So someone saw him leaving the hotel with another woman right before he got on that plane. So the night before or whatever. She wasn't even the last person he got with. This man, I don't know how, one of the things I don't like about him is his haircuts. Like, his haircuts were always like these big bulbous haircuts, and somehow he always looked like he got a blowout. I can guarantee that man was using hairspray. I really think he was a closet guy. And I don't know if I have enough time, but I wanted to talk about how, so he ghosted Carolyn at one point for Daryl Hannah. And I kind of wanted to make a video on how you should never take a man back who ghosts you. And the men who watch this can maybe, attest to this, tell me your 2 cents. You should never, a woman should never take back a man who ghosts her, because a man will always ghost a woman for another woman. A man will entertain a woman he doesn't even really like that much, so he doesn't be alone. Then be like, you know what, I don't really like you that much. I'm just gonna, focus on myself, whatever. A man will only ghost a woman for another woman. So if he comes back to you, if a man ghosts you and then he comes back to you and all of a sudden he wants to take it more seriously, it's because things didn't work out with the woman that he thought he would like better than you. That's what it's about. Or maybe you were third, maybe he did kind of put you in the girlfriend category, but you were third or fourth place, and now he's coming back around to you because because first, second, and third place fell off. So now he's at fourth. So he's at number 4. So you're number 4. That's what it is. But yeah, he totally ghosted Carolyn for Daryl Hannah. And then because that didn't work out, went back to Carolyn. And I don't know why. I don't think at that incident with Aunt Ethel, he did not he didn't tell Carolyn that they had to stand up for this woman, so she looked like a fool. Although I wouldn't have cared. I've been like, who are you, Aunt Ethel? What have you done? I didn't even hear about you in history class. What have you done? But she was super embarrassed. She was like, why didn't you tell me? He didn't tell her that breakfast was at 6 a.m. He didn't clue her in on anything. He just stranded her, And this is why, this is men who come back to you after ghosting you, they just don't want to be alone. They don't really like you that much. They just don't want to be alone. I feel like a lot of women think that a guy will come back one day and be all of a sudden take her seriously. And it's no, he just doesn't want to be alone. You weren't he left you for another girl and that didn't work out. So now he's coming back around. That's what it is. And that's kind of what I wanted to say. like that's what like from